David's victory over Goliath brought him into the national spotlight and earned him a place of honor in Saul's household. Saul, initially pleased with David's bravery, appointed him as a commander in the army. David's courage, humility, and loyalty made him popular among the people and Saul's soldiers, and his fame spread across Israel. David's remarkable rise, however, stirred up deep insecurities in Saul. A unique friendship also began to form between David and Saul's son, Jonathan. Despite knowing that David would one day replace his father as king, Jonathan loved David as a brother. Their friendship was marked by loyalty, kindness, and faithfulness to God. Jonathan recognized David's anointing and supported him, even though it meant sacrificing his own position as heir to the throne. The two made a covenant of friendship, pledging to protect and support one another. As David's popularity grew, Saul's jealousy began to consume him. Hearing the people sing, "Saul has slain his thousands, and David his tens of thousands," Saul became paranoid, seeing David as a threat to his throne. The Spirit of the Lord had departed from Saul, and he was troubled by an evil spirit that filled him with anger and suspicion. Despite David's loyalty, Saul viewed him as a rival rather than a faithful servant. In fits of rage, Saul twice hurled a spear at David while he was playing the harp, but David escaped both times. Fearing for his life, David soon realized that Saul's jealousy would not subside. Even when Saul offered his daughter Michal to David as a wife, it was part of a plan to put David in harm's way, hoping he would die in battle. But David's faith in God protected him, and he continued to serve Saul without bitterness or revenge. Over time, Saul's attempts on David's life forced David to flee. Jonathan, still loyal to David, helped him escape and warned him of his father's intentions. The two friends shared an emotional farewell, knowing they might never see each other again. Jonathan's loyalty was a bright contrast to Saul's jealousy, and he remained committed to David despite his father's hatred. David spent years as a fugitive, moving from place to place to avoid Saul's pursuit. During this time, he gathered a group of loyal followers and continued to rely on God's guidance, trusting that God would fulfill his promises in his time. On two separate occasions, David had the opportunity to kill Saul, but chose to spare him. When his men encouraged him to take revenge, David refused, saying, "I will not raise my hand against the Lord's anointed." David's respect for God's authority over Saul showed his deep faith and humility, despite the injustices he suffered. David's years on the run refined his character, teaching him patience, resilience, and unwavering trust in God. Through these trials, David's relationship with God deepened, preparing him for the responsibilities that would come with kingship. Applications. True friendship. Jonathan's friendship with David showed selflessness and loyalty. True friendship is marked by support, even when it involves personal sacrifice, and by a commitment to each other's well-being. Handling jealousy with grace. David's response to Saul's jealousy demonstrated grace and humility. Instead of reacting with bitterness or anger, he continued to respect Saul's authority, choosing to leave matters in God's hands. Respect for authority. David's decision not to harm Saul, even when he had the chance, reveals his respect for God's anointed leaders. Respecting authority, even when it's difficult, reflects our faith in God's sovereignty. Patience in adversity. David's years as a fugitive taught him patience and reliance on God's timing. In difficult times, we are reminded to wait on God and trust that He is working for our good, even when the way forward isn't clear. Faith overcomes fear. Although David faced constant danger, his faith in God helped him face his fears. Trusting God in times of uncertainty gives us strength and courage to move forward, even in challenging situations.